everyone, my name is Shayna Meyer, and along with my husband Brandon, we are the owners and operators of Lucky and Boer Goats. We are located about 15 minutes north of Lincoln, Nebraska, and we raise show quality Boer goats. I thought since this is my first ever YouTube video, it would only make sense to kind of introduce you to our farm, what it is that we do, kind of our setup. So for starters, there's a few of the girls behind me. We have one commercial doe, a handful of percentage registered does, and then the majority of the does are registered full-bloods with the American Boer Goat Association. We also have 3 bucks on the property, 2 bucklings that are under a year old, and then 1 mature buck. And what we're getting ready for now is we're getting ready for kidding season. It starts for us. Our first doe, I have everything set in a calendar on a timer ready to go off. Our first does are set to go in about 45 days, so it's not very long. It's gonna go really, really fast. So what we'll be doing here in the next few videos is starting to set the pens up for kidding and finish the second weaning shed that my husband has been building, and really just kind of putting the finishing touches going into winter before kidding. So we have everything good to go for the girls, and so everybody can have happy, healthy babies. So yeah, so I'll just go ahead and start the tour and kind of show you what we have. So this is our kidding shed. It looks a little rough around the edges right now, but that is because it is not actually used between the months of about May through December. And you'll see here in a second, it is actually insulated on the inside. And so the goats aren't super crazy here in Nebraska when it's about 110 degrees outside. They don't want to spend a whole lot of time in the insulated kidding shed, and I don't blame them. But we don't kid late spring through the fall anyway, and so it's just not something, I mean, the shed just isn't needed, and so it kind of just becomes a place for storage until it's needed again. And here soon I will be cleaning it up and putting all the pens up, and you can kind of see a sample of what they'll look like, and trust me, it looks a lot nicer once I've put them up and got the shavings in and got them all set up for the mamas. But we've used these successfully for 3 kiddings now, and they work really well. But I'll have more information on those in the next video. But yeah, so this is our kidding shed. It looks a little rough right now, but it hasn't been used since, gosh, April or May. So anyway, we will take a look at the rest of the farm. Here are our 2 weaning sheds. This one is currently being built. It's almost done, but it needs what's it called? I think it's called the soffit. My husband is the one building them. It needs the soffit, and then the inside isn't done. It needs to be insulated and have the plywood put up. But this one we used successfully last year, and it worked perfectly. We put the weaned babies, hi girls, we put the weaned babies in here. And it kept them. We didn't use no heat lamps in here, and it worked fantastic. So the plan, hello girls, do you need more water? This is Ivory and Misty and Honey, and she goes bye-bye tomorrow. She was purchased. We call her G-Baby. Her mama's name was Granny, and so we call her G-Baby. But anyway, I know you want kisses. But the plan for this year is that we will initially split our first group of moms. Once they kid, we'll bring moms and babies into these 2 sheds, split the groups, and they'll stay in here until weaning, and then the moms will be moved out for weaning, and then we'll have the second group. They'll stay in the kidding shed, and then we will, when everybody's weaned, there'll be a doe shed and a buck wether shed. And these are more so, once we move into spring, the does they'll be kicked out into a much bigger pasture, because this is a pretty little pen for a large group of does. So this is just to keep them warm in the winter, get some feed to them, and give them a safe place to be weaned. So here are a few of the girls. Now, all of these but one are our heavy bred, due in 45 days to about 55 days girls. Some of them are looking really big, and they still got a ways to go. So, and this is just a handful of them. That one out there that just coughed by the gate, she's pretty naughty. She's sticking her head through. She's just itching to get stuck. Our sweet number 3 is never content with the feed or the grass or the hay that's inside the fence. Only the good stuff is on the outside of the fence. And she is almost the only one that will habitually and continually try and get stuck trying to get the goodies just outside the fence. So this right here is the entrance to our working area. We have a chute and a table and a ramp, and then this is kind of our catch area. And then back beyond this we have one little pen that we don't use a whole lot, and these are our young boys, and they're just kind of hanging out until some more space opens up here. With Brandon building another shed and using the kidding shed to store stuff, it's kind of eaten up some valuable space. But then we have these girls. These were the ones we just haven't played goat musical chairs yet, or at least that's what I refer to it when you have to move the goats around all the time. But yes, so these girls will be getting kicked out so they can stretch their legs, and they also, we had some rechecks for ultrasounds, and so we kept them close so we'd be able to move them easily. And this is where they are now, and they'll be moved here soon. I will admit these are some of my favorite girls. This is Fanny and Spotty, and this is our doe. We call her Rebar, but she's from Rebar Ranch. And then Brandon just got this fence line fixed. It was looking a little worn. And this is our boy Brett. Hi, baby. He's a big dude. He needs his hooves done again. His hooves grow crazy fast, and so Brandon will be doing that here in a few days. And then these are some of our other girls. This is our Peachy girl. And then we got Cream Puff and our sweet Haley. Here is a little better look at our system. Eventually we want to actually get something a little bit nicer for this back portion. We just kind of pinched together 2 cattle panels, and so we open up the far cattle panel and then push one in and then close it and then push them up the ramp and through the chute. And I mean, I don't know, I'm happy with our system. I think it works really well, especially since we trim hooves about every 3 months, or at least we check hooves every 3 months, and we try to run everybody through the chute to make sure that they're otherwise healthy, and their famachas are good, so we check them, that they're not anemic, and just kind of get our hands on them to make sure that they're otherwise healthy. So now we come to this corner of land. Oh, I believe, gosh, is it about 4 to 5 acres? It sits right next to our house, right next to our weaning sheds, and obviously the kidding shed, and then it goes back. The video, you can't really see it, but it dips down over that hill, and one of our big goals is to turn this to rent it from my folks here in the next couple years and turn it into some grazable pasture for the goats. So that's like the short-term goal, and then the long-term goal would be to right about here put up a really big, nice show and weaning shed for our operation to expand farther. So we have lots of goals. So I should probably also say that we actually have not been raising goats for that long. We purchased our first 2 does in November of 2017, so it'll be 3 years next month. And Brandon did not actually know that the goats were being delivered. That was a surprise to him. I cannot necessarily say that he was super thrilled, even though we had talked about raising goats for years. I definitely pulled the trigger, and he was otherwise unaware. So about an hour until they were delivered, and oh my gosh, he was so like, we are not a couple that fights, and we weren't even fighting. He was just furious. So, but as they say, the rest is history, and here we are. And I would definitely say that we've accomplished a lot in 3 years, because, and I think I have a picture somewhere of when the first 2 girls came home, but there was just a little cattle panel fenced in area back around the propane tank with a little garden shed. and it was not set up for goats. It wasn't set up for anything. It was just, this was originally my grandma's property before she passed, and so it was not set up for this. And Brandon has literally single-handedly driven every post, put up every panel, built every shed. I shouldn't say that's a lie, not every shed. There are a few hog huts, and then two really nice sheds, little silver sheds that we found on Craigslist that we got for a steal, and so we have those. But all the red sheds on the property Brandon has built himself, and so this has been, and oh, if you would have seen those first 2 goats that we brought home, that I brought home way back when, they would not be able to hold a candle to the does that we're raising now. And so I feel we have a really bright future in raising show does, registered show goats. And so I'm really excited for the journey ahead. And we have lots of big goals and big dreams, and we've already accomplished so much. Well, that is all for now. Number 3 and I would like to wish you farewell, and hopefully we'll catch you with our next video. See you soon.